I forgave my wife for cheating with my younger brother, but when she slept with my older brother, I set up cameras and invited the whole family to witness the truth. I forgave my wife for cheating with my younger brother, but when she slept with my older brother, I set up cameras and invited the whole family to witness the truth.
I'm not sure I was ever truly ready to speak this out. Not because I'm ashamed, well, maybe a part is that, but because when you love someone deeply enough, you never imagine that person could break you. Not just once, but twice, with the very ones you call family. My name is Mark. I was born and raised in a small town on the edge of Missouri, where everyone knows each other and secrets rarely stay hidden long. My wife Amanda was the girl I met in my final year of college. She laughed like autumn sunshine and had a way of making me feel like the luckiest man on earth. We dated nearly a year, then married. Back then, I truly believed I'd found the one who'd walk with me through the rest of my life. But they say, what brings you down isn't some sudden big storm. It's the small cracks, quiet, seeping unnoticed, until everything shatters, beyond saving. Amanda bonded with my family from the start, especially with Josh, my younger brother. Josh, 4 years my junior, used to be a bit wild but full of heart. I thought maybe she saw him as a little brother, or at least a close family friend. But slowly, I started seeing things off, though back then I didn't want to believe. The looks they shared when they thought I wasn't watching. The times Amanda giggled when Josh joked in ways unfit. Once I walked into the kitchen earlier than planned, saw them standing closer than needed, barely a hand's width apart. She flinched, and Josh backed off quick like a caught thief. I asked. Amanda said I was sensitive, that I was overthinking. Josh laughed it off, clapped my shoulder like I was the fool imagining things. And I believed them. I thought, yeah, maybe I'm too stressed. I was one who trusted family, trusted love, and didn't doubt kin without clear proof. But that so-called proof didn't wait for me too long. One night, I came home earlier than usual. Amanda wasn't in the bedroom. I figured she was reading downstairs, but as I descended the stairs, I only saw faint light from the laundry room door. I walked over, meant to ask if she needed help, but the door ajar, and what I heard was whispers between her and Josh. First soft laughs, then something wet, tender, and far too intimate. I stood there, frozen like a statue. I didn't barge in, I didn't yell, I just silently turned away, my head screaming voicelessly. Maybe you'd ask, why didn't you storm in? Why not confront them? I don't have a rational answer. Just that in that moment, all feelings in me drained dry. I felt empty, cold to the core, like the whole world just changed color, and I was the only one not told. Next morning, I sat across Amanda at breakfast. I said nothing, just stared long enough that she looked up from her coffee and asked, "Why are you looking at me like that?" I smiled, faintly, then asked back, "If I said I came home early last night and heard everything, what would you say?" She paused. Eyes widened, but only for a brief second. Then, like she had a script, she leaned back, shrugged, and said, "So what? Am I not still your wife? You know how it feels when someone slaps you with words. I once thought the worst was finding out I'd been betrayed. But no, the worst was when they betray you. And don't even apologize. They see it as normal. They see you as a shadow living under the same roof, nothing more." I wanted to scream. I wanted to smash everything. But instead, I stood, grabbed my coat, and left the house. I didn't leave forever, not then, because a part of me still couldn't believe it. I forgave. Foolishly, maybe. I thought, they just slipped once. Josh is my brother. Amanda will surely regret it. I wanted to hold on to family. But as you know, when someone crushes your heart once, they're likely to do it again. And next time, they'll hit harder because they believe you'll still stay. I was wrong. And that wrong would cost me, but also lead to the biggest choice of my life. After that day, I wasn't myself anymore. I still went to work, chatted with colleagues, flashed polite smiles when needed. But inside me was a mess of emotions. Anger, hurt, doubt. And worst, the sense I'd let them disrespect me too easily. Amanda was different. She acted like nothing happened. She cooked, cleaned, sometimes texted asking what I wanted for dinner, as if she was still a devoted wife, and I was the overly sensitive husband needing time to cool off. Maybe because I stayed silent, she thought I'd accepted it. Maybe because I didn't make a scene, she believed she'd pay no price. Josh vanished from our house for weeks. No texts, no drop-ins like usual. I guessed Amanda warned him, or they decided to pause a while. I didn't care. Back then, I just wanted things calm again, though deep down I knew that calm was just a thin shell, ready to crack. Time passed. 6 months. Things seemed to settle. Amanda and I still lived together, ate dinners, talked small stuff. I once thought I could forgive. I once thought if I kept this home, the road ahead would ease up. But then one day, things got strange again. This time, not Josh, but Ethan, my older brother. Ethan lived in another city 4 hours drive away. He was busy, rarely came home. But 2 months lately, he started showing up more. Usually weekends, with excuses like visiting parents or working a project nearby. At first, I didn't suspect a thing. Ethan was my big brother, who carried me as a toddler, rode me to school on his beat-up bike in 6th grade. I trusted him, more than anyone. Until one Saturday night when I came home early after overtime. Lights still on, Ethan's car parked out front. I thought they were in the living room. But stepping in, the house dead quiet. I called, "Amanda?" No answer. Then I heard it. Not loud, but not quite soft. I walked down the hall. A chair creaked faintly. Then a sound no man wants to hear. Moans mixed with rushed breaths. I stopped at the living room door. My hand shook. Part of me wanted to leave. Pretend I heard nothing. But no, I'd done that once, and the cost was my own trust. I pushed the door lightly. And there, on the cream sofa I'd sat on hundreds of times before, were Amanda and Ethan, in a state you know I'll describe. No clothes. Bodies entwined, like no one else existed in the world, but them. I didn't scream, didn't shout. I didn't want to give them the right to hear me howl in pain. I just looked. The look of a man who just lost the last thing he held on to. Trust. Amanda startled. Ethan turned, panicked. But then, something strange happened. Amanda, my wife who vowed loyalty forever, looked up, met my eyes and smiled. I swear to God she smiled. Like all this was nothing. Like I wasn't the man she swore to at the altar years ago, just someone standing wrong place, wrong time. She only said one thing. "You're home early, Mark." I turned and left. My heart didn't ache anymore. It was cold. Strangely cold. Driving away, I didn't cry. No tears fell. But I knew one thing for sure. This time, no more forgiveness. No start over. No for family. I wouldn't yell. I wouldn't hit. But I'd make them never forget the moment they lost me forever. If Amanda and Ethan wanted to play two-faced, I'd let them act it out. And I'd write the ending they'd never see coming. That day, I slept in the car. Not because I had nowhere to go. I had friends, hotels a few miles off. But I didn't want to face anyone. Not now. I needed to be alone to stay calm, to cage the rage boiling inside. I sat behind the wheel, stared at the car roof, letting memories flood back of all the times I tried to save this marriage. The time I held Amanda's hand in freezing winter, slipped on her finger a ring I saved a year to buy. The time I skipped a promotion because I didn't want to move, to stay near her family. And the time I forgave her after finding out about Josh, my own brother. Forgiveness. That word now sounded like a joke. Next morning, I stopped by the usual coffee shop near work, grabbed a black no sugar, then went to my mom's. Mom opened the door, worry etched on her face seeing me like a sleepless ghost. "You okay, Mark?" I nodded, but Mom's eyes weren't fooled easy. "You two fought?" I breathed deep. I wanted to spill it all, but not yet. I needed prep. I needed proof. A plan. Couldn't let this slide like last time. Couldn't let Amanda and Ethan play victims if it blew up. So I started my own play. I went home at noon, acted like nothing happened. Amanda wasn't there. She left a note. Out for breakfast with Ethan, back later. Perfect. They didn't even bother hiding anymore. I snapped a pic of the note. One piece of evidence. Then I called an old friend, Luke. He's an IT guy, once worked for a security firm. I asked if he knew where to get quick, discreet, hidden cameras. "What you tracking?" Luke asked, half joking. "I want to expose the truth," I said, simple as that. A week later, my house had new stuff. A wall clock with a camera inside, a fake Bluetooth speaker recording the living room, even a coat hook with a tiny mic. I set it up like a chess game. Amanda lived on as usual. Ethan visited more. I quietly worked, quietly watched. And then, the footage started catching what I needed. Times Amanda changed in front of Ethan, door wide open. Hugs, too long for normal. Evenings they lay close on the sofa, her legs draped over him, like he was her husband. I didn't watch every clip. My heart couldn't take it. But I stayed sharp enough to save it all, careful and thorough. After 2 weeks, I had everything, and I knew, time to end it. I planned. A plan partly cruel, but fully fair. I called Amanda's parents, invited them over that weekend, said I had something to share, something about their daughter's marriage future. Evelyn, her mom, sounded puzzled. "What's going on, son?" I just said lightly, "I want everyone to witness. Because if I just told it, no one might believe." I called my mom too, not to watch, but to stay calm when it broke. She said as long as I did right by myself, she'd always back me. That night, I drove out, let Amanda think I was on night shift again. But really, I sat in the lot behind the park near home, phone screen showing every frame from the cameras. And then, I saw them. Amanda and Ethan. Again on that sofa. Again those lips. Those hands. Again the scene that made me want to leap up, smash the phone on the wall. But I didn't. I just hit record. And waited for Saturday. The day they thought would be peaceful. But really, the day the play would end. Saturday. A calm fall morning like any other in our small town. Mild sun, crisp air, and maybe if you looked from outside, you'd see a cozy home prepping for guests. But for me, today was the day truth spoke. Amanda thought I was at the hospital morning shift. I even left my uniform and med bag on the car's backseat for realism. She didn't even ask more. Maybe because Ethan kept her company enough to fill my absence. I drove around town, killed time, mind racing. Part of me scared. Not of them, but of losing control when it blew up. Scared I'd yell, break things, or do something I'd regret. But another part, oddly calm. Like someone who'd waited too long for this and now just wanted it over with dignity. Around 10:30 a.m., Amanda's parents arrived. They came on time as I guessed, with kind faces, no hint of suspicion. Her mom brought a homemade apple pie. Her dad shook my hand like always, said he was glad we'd finally settled after trouble. If he only knew. I welcomed them in, poured tea like a proper host. Amanda was in the kitchen, making brunch. Scrambled eggs with toast, Ethan's favorite. Of course, she didn't know Ethan would show up for their secret date. But this time, the audience was ready. "Mark, something special today that you invited us over?" Evelyn asked, voice gentle. I smiled, nodded. I think it's time for everyone to see clearly what's happening in this house." Their eyes flickered, but they sat still, polite. And then, like clockwork, Ethan knocked. I glanced at the clock. 10:43. On time. Of course, a man cheating with his sister-in-law without fear of getting caught. Why would he worry? I opened the door. "Yo, bro, why no heads up?" He froze, seeing Amanda's parents in the living room. I gave my calmest smile. "Come in. Family's waiting." Ethan hesitated, but stepped in like all was fine. He even masked his nerves with a quip. "Didn't know today was early Thanksgiving or what?" I didn't reply, just gestured to the sofa, the stage of their wrong play, and invited everyone to sit. Amanda came from the kitchen, towel in hand, froze seeing her parents' mid-room, Ethan near me, face pale. I looked straight at her, then said slowly, "Maybe today's a good chance for us to revisit some special moments in this house." I pulled my phone, linked it to the TV. One tap, the video played. First sound was Ethan chuckling. If Mark knew, he'd die. Then Amanda, soft but brutal. "Relax, he's clueless. Last time I cheated with Josh, he still forgave me." Bam. The room's air sucked dry. Henry, her dad, sat stunned, while Evelyn covered her mouth, face ashen. On screen, undeniable clarity. Amanda and Ethan in each other's arms, tangled, bare bodies in the living room. That scene, once in shadows, now bared in brightest light, before the most important people. Amanda screamed, "Turn it off!" "Mark, you're insane." Ethan jumped up. "You spied in your own house?" I looked at them, eyes cold as stone. "Not spying," I said, "but gathering proof. Proof of betrayal, lies, and contempt for all we call family." I turned to her parents. "Now I hope you see why I asked you here today. Not to shame Amanda, but for you to witness, with eyes, not words or excuses, the truth." Amanda sobbed loud, but not from remorse, from everything crumbling, out of control. She still couldn't believe the puppet, she mocked, could go this far. I didn't yell, didn't curse. Just gently placed a stack of papers before her. Divorce papers. "Sign," I said. "We're done." When Amanda signed the divorce papers, her hand shook. But what struck me more was her eyes. No remorse, no regret, just helplessness and anger like a kid caught stealing cake, not sorry for wrong, just mad at being exposed. And Ethan, he said nothing. No defense, no pleas. Just stood there, fists clenched like he wanted to punch the wall. But I didn't care anymore. The day I saw him as my brother, my role model, someone I trusted wholly, that day died. Buried by his own hands, bit by bit. After that morning, I moved out with one suitcase. No fuss, no clinging. Amanda stayed in the house we once called home. Now just an empty shell, walls stained with tainted memories. I rented a small apartment by the lake. Not big, not modern, but quiet. And most important, mine alone. No more slamming doors. No pillows reeking of pretense. Just me and silence. At night, I'd sometimes jolt awake, sweat cold on my brow. In dreams, I saw Amanda and Ethan laughing loud, while I stood alone at a feast, everyone's eyes piercing like I was the world's most pitiful fool. But then, eyes open, I saw the sky through my small window, moonlight on the lake. And I knew, dreams were just dreams. I was living a new life, step by step. I started returning to things I'd forgotten. I jogged at dawn, sipped coffee at the corner shop where the owner knew my blend. I joined a Wednesday night photography class, knowing no one, but that didn't matter. I didn't need anyone knowing me as Amanda's husband or Ethan's brother. I was just Mark, a lone man learning to start over. And surprisingly, I wasn't as alone as I thought. Mom dropped by, brought stew I loved since childhood. She didn't talk much, just looked at me with sad eyes, then held my hand when I least expected. I knew she hurt, not just for me, but for Ethan too. She bore 2 sons, one now betrayed blood, one shattered by broken trust. But she didn't blame me. She just said, "You deserve to live happy, Mark. And if anyone hurts you like that, they don't belong in your life anymore." I nodded, throat tight. As for Amanda, she texted, long rants. That I'd taken everything from her, that I didn't need to humiliate her before her parents. Even a bit saying I never was the husband she wanted. I read, then deleted. I didn't need to keep those words. Because I knew, if someone truly loves you, they don't pin their wrongs on your shoulders. Ethan, no contact. Maybe shame. Maybe knowing no excuse left. I didn't care. Blood ties? Brotherhood? He cut them himself. I didn't need to stitch them back. Divorce finalized after nearly 3 months. I didn't fight for anything, didn't want the house, didn't need her money. I just wanted freedom. And holding the official decree from court, I sat on the wooden chair by my apartment balcony, cracked open a cold beer, and for the first time in months, smiled genuinely. Sometimes losing everything teaches you to love yourself. I'd been a man holding a home, despite all. But now, I was a man learning to build a new life. No one's permission needed. I thought I'd never see Amanda again. This city's not big, but not small enough you can't avoid faces. I changed routes daily, skipped the old grocery, switched coffee shops, even dodged the road past that house. I didn't want to look back, didn't need reminders. But life, as always, loves testing those learning to stand firm. It happened one Friday afternoon. I'd finished work, stopped by a small grocery up north, rarely went there. Just grabbing stuff for the weekend, beer cans, chips bag, simple things to stay in. Pushing my cart through fresh produce, I heard a familiar voice. "Mark?" I froze. There's a sound you know without looking. That voice I'd heard in mornings when she whispered, "Good morning, love." That voice I once knew by heart. I turned. And as I thought, Amanda. She stood there, clutching an orange bag, thinner than before, eyes shadowed. But what stunned me wasn't her look. It was, she held a child. A kid just over a year, curly hair, blue eyes. Looked oddly familiar. "Your kid?" I asked, voice hoarse. She nodded, eyes on me like expecting something. "His name's Liam." My heart skipped an empty beat. I didn't ask more, but my mind spun. Liam, over a year. If I counted back, born maybe 7 to 8 months after I left. Meaning, Amanda was pregnant when I signed the divorce? I swallowed hard. "What do you want from me, Amanda?" She sighed. A tired sigh, no script, no act. "I don't know, just saw you and I ran into you. I didn't plan anything." I stayed silent. Inside, a storm of feelings. Doubt, hurt, even faint lingering pain. Then she looked at me, eyes wet. "Liam's Ethan's. But he's gone. Left me right after I gave birth. I've got no one, Mark. I messed up. I've lost everything." I shook my head. Light, but firm. "Amanda, what you lost is what you sowed. I didn't bring you to this." "I know," she choked. "I don't expect forgiveness. Just, if you could, look at Liam a bit. He's not to blame." I looked at the boy. He gazed up, big round eyes, innocent, unaware the man before him was a victim of betrayal in his very bloodline. I sighed, then bent, gently touched his tiny hand. "You're not at fault," I whispered to Liam, "but I'm not part of your family anymore." Amanda broke down crying, and I turned away. I knew that moment would haunt her forever. But for me, it wasn't cruelty, it was release. Because sometimes, facing the past's fallout shows you your present's worth. And my present had no room for Amanda anymore. I thought after all that, I'd be tough enough not to waver. I'd walked through the worst days already. Pulled myself from betrayal's mud, rebuilt life from scratch, learned to sleep sound without her ghost in my chest. But seeing Amanda cradling Liam, gaunt, ragged, unrecognizable, a part of me still trembled. Not from love, from pity. Pity for someone who had it all, love, forgiveness, a warm home. Then threw it away, chased blind lust, now clutching a child from a man who fled the moment it cried first. She wasn't the Amanda I knew. No longer the woman cooking Saturday dinners, resting legs on mine watching movies, beaming when I called her beautiful even in old pajamas. Now, before me, just a lost woman. Dark eyes, messy hair, hands trembling trying to steady her voice. I tried to walk away, but Amanda called my name again. "Mark, please, don't turn like I was never anything in your life." I stopped. Not because she was right, but because I knew I needed to say this, not for her. For me. I turned back, looked straight into Amanda's eyes. First time since leaving that house. You were everything to me, Amanda, I said, voice low and steady. I loved you so much I lost myself just to hold a marriage shell already rotten. Amanda teared up, gripping Liam like calming herself. But I wasn't done. I forgave when you slept with my brother. Not because I'm dumb, but because I wanted to believe people change. Because I thought, if I loved enough, hurt could heal. I stepped closer. Not threatening, not angry, just clear. But then you betrayed again. This time with my older brother. What's worse than that? Please tell me. Amanda crumpled. Couldn't stand straight anymore. She held Liam, sank to her knees mid-aisle, ignoring passers-by stares. I've no excuses left, she said through tears. Ethan ditched me when I got pregnant. He denied Liam. My family cut me off. I'm alone, Mark. I don't want to beg you back, but I just want to know if you could forgive me, as one human to another. That question, a year ago, me might have swayed. But now I knew. Forgiveness isn't the key to every wrong. Some things betrayed too deep can't return to their old shape. I bent down, gently placed a small paper by her cart, a single mom support center address I knew. Without another word, I walked off. At the aisle turn, I heard Liam call behind. Uncle! I stopped, heart squeezed light. But I didn't look back. I just closed my eyes, whispered in my head. Hope you grow up never knowing the painful things behind how you were born. After that grocery meeting, I couldn't sleep that night. Not missing Amanda. No love strong enough to stir my rest anymore. But because of Liam, that tiny face, big eyes like asking me, "Who are you?" That question looped in my head like a stuck record. I knew I owed that kid nothing. But maybe, deep down, a part of me, the part once dreaming of fatherhood, eager for mornings building blocks or weekends park walks, that part hadn't died out. But I didn't go back. I knew if I kept looking behind, I'd never step forward. That next week, I returned to photography class. We got an assignment. Capture an everyday moment you feel touches human emotion. I roamed town with my camera, but couldn't snap anything decent. Everything looked fake, staged. Like me then, pretending I'd moved on, while my heart still bore scratched patches. I stopped at a small bookstore cafe with big glass windows and sunlight piercing wooden shelves. I'd passed it often, never entered. This time, I pushed the door. A bell overhead jingled. The space quiet, coffee scent mixed with old books making a strange feel, like a place you didn't plan to hit, but wanted to linger longer than meant. I walked to the counter. The woman wiping glasses looked up, and in that moment, I saw some eyes don't dazzle, but gentle enough to make you pause. She was over 30, hair tied neat, round glasses, cream sweater. Not the type you'd turn for on a crowded street. But when she smiled and said, "What you having today?" I forgot what I meant to order. Anything with caffeine? I fumbled. She laughed. Rough day then? I nodded. Rough year's more like it. I picked a window table, set my camera down. I didn't plan to shoot, just felt it part of me now. Soon, she brought coffee, set it down without asking my name. I call this one Start Over. Not special, but fits folks patching themselves up. I looked at her, startled. How'd you know I'm patching up? She smiled. Anyone lugging an old camera, coming here alone, ordering any caffeine, usually ain't doing great. I didn't know what to say, but didn't feel need to guard either. Some people, with one look, they make you feel safe. I'm Mark. Emily. Shop owner. Yep, plus barista, cleaner, shelf fixer, and sometimes part-time shrink. I laughed. First time, that laugh wasn't forced. That day, I sat nearly 2 hours in Emily's shop. Not because the coffee was great, though it was solid, but because something felt healing. No rush, no reminders, no, "Why'd your wife do that?" No pity, no prying. Just two people once broken, by chance sitting near in a sunlit afternoon, sharing small things like old souls from another life. Leaving, Emily called after, If things ever feel too tight, my shop's always got an empty corner. I nodded. No promises, no plans. But my heart lightened some. Not everyone comes to love you. Some come just to show you're still worth something, even after others tossed you aside. I didn't hit Emily's shop next day, nor the day after. I needed to be sure. What I felt that day wasn't just a fleeting spark. I didn't want to drag my shards to someone else's door. Didn't want to make Emily my healer, then walk off if I wasn't whole yet. But third day, I stood before her shop again. No push, no reason. I just wanted back where I'd felt peace, even for a few hours. She was wiping the counter when I walked in. Same smile. Not the, oh, you're back dazzle, but a gentle look saying, I knew you'd come. When you're ready? Still got start over? I asked. Still do, she smiled. Cinnamon today? Bit warmer. I nodded. Somehow, felt understood in ways I wasn't used to. We sat same table. At first, just light talk, weather, odd customers, old bookstores closing in town. But then no one spoke, and didn't need to. Sometimes silence with the right person is the deepest bond. Until Emily asked first, You ever loved so hard, you forgot yourself? I looked at her, a beat quiet, then nodded. I did everything to keep her, even when my heart bled out, because I believed if I was kind enough, patient enough, she'd value me in the end. She smiled sad. But she didn't, right? I half laughed. Not only didn't value, she stabbed one last time, right when I dropped my sword. Emily gripped her coffee cup light. Then she told. She'd been engaged to a man 6 years, planned a wedding, booked venues, picked kid names, but 3 weeks before the day, she found he lived double. One life with her, one with another woman, next stayed over. He said I was too good, too gentle, and that choked him. I stayed silent. Not 'cause I didn't know what to say, but 'cause a pang rose in me. Why do honest people keep getting hurt by the unworthy? I left that city, cut everyone off, came to this town, opened this cafe with little savings and one wish, to live without straining anymore. I looked at her long. In those eyes, no more anger, no blame, just scars, healed, but still tender if brushed by chance. So I named the coffee Start Over, she said soft, 'cause sometimes what we need isn't forgetting. It's starting again with all we've learned from pain. I nodded. Maybe that's what you and I are doing, huh? She asked. I didn't answer right off, just looked out the glass where afternoon sun hit empty streets. Yeah, I said. Only difference, this time we start not for anyone, but for ourselves. Walking home, I felt much lighter. No pounding heart, no love at first sight delusions. Just comfort that. Somewhere out there, someone gets the hurt you can't put to words. And sometimes, like Emily, they're sitting quiet in a corner, waiting for you to be strong enough to step up. I don't know why I drove there. Maybe 'cause nights lately I kept dreaming of a small box tucked under the bed in the old house. In dreams, I always opened it, but saw nothing inside, just cold emptiness. Maybe my mind was telling me, something's not done, Mark. You gotta go back, close it for real. So Saturday morning, I woke early, brewed coffee, sat still a bit, then drove to the old house. The house same, yet not anymore. Paint peeling more. Front yard grass knee-high. That worn feel didn't hurt me now, just felt alien. Like I'd lived here, but in a past life. Amanda wasn't home. I knew 'cause her car wasn't in the garage, kitchen window shut tight, curtains down. I still had the old key. She didn't change locks, probably didn't think I'd ever return. The door creaked, light opening. Inside, silent as death. Musty smell mixed with faint, familiar perfume. Everything still where it was, but now I looked like an outsider. I went upstairs to the old bedroom. All unchanged. White sheets, wedding photo on shelf, half my closet still hung with shirts I wore. I opened the last drawer and saw that box for real. A small oak box I'd handmade to keep important things. Amanda's letters, old pics, our first movie ticket, and a paper. Rough sketch of a dream house we drew when newlyweds. I picked up the paper. Messy lines, clumsy but full of zeal. Amanda wanted kitchen by window. I demanded a quiet study. We'd argued 'cause she wanted a tub left corner. I liked right. I laughed. A sad laugh. Then I burned it. Each piece flared in the small gas burner I brought. I stood watching fire eat old dreams. No pain, no regret, just lighter. Then I closed the box, took it with me. Not to keep, but to ditch. I didn't need more relics from a past life gone dark. Stepping downstairs, Ethan was there. I wasn't shocked, probably back for stuff. Or Amanda called, said I stopped by. We stood silent few seconds. Then he said, "Liam's mine." I nodded. "I know. I didn't abandon Amanda," he said, sharp. "I just wasn't ready. It all too fast, too messy." I looked straight at the man, once my brother. "You betrayed me, took my wife, got her pregnant, then left. Now back. You want me to hear excuses?" Ethan went quiet. I stepped closer, half a meter off. "You want to make it right? Care for the kid. Don't come to me again." "Mark, I'm sorry." I sighed. No more anger, no more bitterness. Just a guy who trusted, now accepted total loss. "I don't need sorry. I need you gone from my life." Then I turned. Didn't look back. That afternoon I stopped by Emily's shop. She was watering plants by the window. Seeing me, she said nothing. Just waved light, like knowing I'd return, like always. I sat usual table. She brought a start over, this time with dried orange slice and cinnamon stick tied with twine. "Thought you'd need something. Warmer than usual," she said, voice whispering into dusk. I didn't speak, just looked at Emily long, then said, "Today, I burned an old blueprint." She nodded. "Hurt? Bit by bit, but then felt light." Emily smiled, eyes glinting something tender I'd never seen. "Then, maybe time you draw a new one." I nodded, and this time, maybe I'd put kitchen by window, just for excuse to ask someone to brew coffee with me each morning. I don't recall when I started seeing Emily special. Maybe when she remembered days I got headaches and brewed herb tea not bitter. Maybe when I shared old bitter tales, she didn't comfort, didn't rush advice, just set her hand on table, waiting if I needed a hold. Or maybe that time I stayed at her shop till dark, fixing an old photo and leaving, found she'd draped a cloth on my bike seat, 'cause rain might come. No confessions, no formal dates. We just were there, together. One early winter afternoon, I arrived as Emily hung Christmas lights on window frame. I sat usual table. She smiled from ladder. "Good timing. 2 bulbs left and I'm scared to fall." I stepped over, held ladder light, watched her fix last bulb. Hair fell loose, lips curved as lights twinkled. Simple moment. But I realized it had been ages since my chest warmed not from duty or effort, but from wanting here, with her. When she climbed down, I couldn't hold back. "Emily?" I called, hesitating. "Hmm? I'm not sure I'm ready for something new. But one thing I'm sure, near you, I don't feel guilty for being happy." She stood still. No dodge, no burst, just tilted head. "You don't need ready now. Just don't pull back from fear of pain." I nodded. Light as her words. We didn't kiss that day. No hugs, no shy handholds. Just 2 people, sitting longer, hearing lights flicker, sharing a quiet smile. Like both knew, this winter wouldn't be cold as ones before. Few days later, I drove by Old House one last time. "For rent" sign dangled. Amanda and Liam gone. I didn't know where, didn't want to anymore. I stopped car a few seconds, peered at second floor window once my bedroom. Nothing left. Empty. An abandoned room, like a heart once broken, now saved for something new. I sighed, relieved. Then turned car, drove to town's other side, where someone waited with a start-over cup and gentle eyes needing no questions, just knowing. Late December, snow fell first night. I woke up from cold, not nightmares. A thing small seeming, but to me, an entire win. Over nearly a year past, I'd learned live again. From brewing coffee mornings, tidying bed nights, to asking self each dawn, today, Mark wants what? Not, who needs me? Not, what keeps someone staying? I learned love too. Way of one hurt, slow, no push, no gloss. And Emily never made me name what between us. Didn't need, I love you soon. Just me come, sit, truly stay. That morn, I went her shop like ever. Shop bare, just Christmas tunes soft behind. Emily wiped shelves as I stepped up, set small postcard on table. She eyed me, curious. What's this? First Christmas card I sent from new home. She shocked. You moved? I nodded. Yeah, small house by lake, 15-minute drive off, not big, not too comfy, but kitchen by window, and wood table fit 2 breakfast. She paused, smiled light. Sounds place worth live. I eyed her. If time could drop by. Just coffee even, no bring stuff. You brought plenty. She eyed me, real long. Then soft nod. Okay, but I brew coffee. Fine, I smiled. Long as cinnamon. That eve got letter old box I hadn't killed. No sender, but new hand. Amanda's. 1 page, double fold. Mark, if read this means I chance say last never dared. Thanks. For once forgive. I beg no more. Lost much see some, once gone, I no deserve back. Liam grow fast, like you over Ethan. Not look, but quiet watch others. Maybe soul gift I hold, good bit I touched. If can, no hate me more. Don't let me last shade your heart. Hope you peace. Love again. Not me. I folded letter. No tears, no ache. Just chapter. Shut. Right. Burned it. Like old blueprint once. But now, smiled. Cause new. Not forget, but no held back. 3 days on, Emily knocked new house door. Snowlight out. She brought thermos, 2 clay mugs. Cinnamon? I asked, door open. Ginger too, she smiled. Today colder usual. I let in. Not guest, but one house. Long waited. Sat by window. Out, snow roof white. In, music light rang. No much talk. Just coffee warm still. And 2 souls back at last where need be.